Hey, it's Freitag. In this podcast, we interview business owners in New Hampshire and beyond to get their perspective on work, growth, and of course, the weekend. Join our host, Freitag marketing owner Jan Ziegler, as he interviews fascinating guests. We hope you'll enjoy this episode.
Welcome to another episode of It's Freitag. I'm Jan, and today I'm joined by Aubrey Saxton from Saxy Chef, the best pie bakery in the region. Welcome, Aubrey.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me, how did this all start? I mean, so we're in the same building. We're at 310 Marlborough. My office is kind of like on top of yours and, well, your bakery, really. And it smells amazing always, yet...
That's right, you can't have it.
But I can't have it, which is just the saddest thing. We need to talk about changing that. But apart from that, how did Saxy Chef get started?
Okay, so I started making pies for one farm stand that is actually not open anymore. I went to culinary school for cooking, but I've always loved baking and loved eating baked goods. So my dad kind of randomly volunteered me to make pies for this farm stand. They had lost their pie person and they were just chatting. My dad was like, "Oh, my daughter will make those," and called me. And I was like, "I've never made a pie, so I'm not really sure about that." But I did. I made them and kind of figured out how to make them good. I knew I wanted them to be really good. And I did that one place for maybe just 2 summers. They were just seasonal. And then somebody at a different farm stand bought one of them and wanted them at their farm stand. And then I made them for 2 places.
So how old were you when you started that?
I was an adult. I moved back here in 2008. I was like 23.
Cool. And then kind of like it all organically snowballed into?
Yeah, it's all totally organic. So I did seasonal. I had those 2 customers. My first year-round customer was Blueberry Fields. I don't know how long you've been in Keene, but Blueberry Fields was the original natural food store, and they needed some pies and some brownies. So they were my first full year, like open all the time. I don't remember exactly when that was, like maybe 2010 or 11. I think the co-op opened in 2013. So there was a couple years before the co-op that we had this one natural food store. Actually, I started doing the Brattleboro Food Co-op right before the Keene Co-op opened. And then I was trying to figure out how to kind of like do it all year and not just seasonal.
But I mean, you make pies, you like baking, you do it for fun, you do it like in the summer for like 2 farms. I feel like that's like a big leap to like, and now you stock co-ops every week.
After the first couple years, like maybe 1 or 2, I was like, I'm either gonna do it for real and like keep track of my expenses and like maybe just do things a little bit more official, or I'm gonna quit completely. And like for a couple, like fall, like after the season was over, I was kind of like, oh, next year I'm not gonna do it. Or like maybe I will and make it my job. So at some point I decided to do it.
Because so my assumption is like, I mean, it all sounds cute and all, but in my take would be like, it stops being cute and fun making pies when you make hundreds, which you're in the business of now. And it's a lot more about, well, how much do my ingredients cost? And like I mean, your margins aren't like, they're not great. It's not software. It's labor and expensive ingredients. So is that kind of like when you started treating it as a business and sort of being like, okay, I need to be intentional about where I source my stuff and how this all works?
I think I just at some point tried to figure out like what I should charge for them. Like the original pricing was just like, what can I get for this that they're going to resell it, and totally made up. So I think at some point I tried to like cost some things out, but they were still like, my wholesale price was like $8 a pie, where they're like 19. So they were still like pretty wildly priced. But I've always wanted to like share food with people. So even though it is cute and fun still, but I like to do it.
Yeah. And I think, we just talked about your branding, and like it reflects that, right? It's cute and fun. Like it's intentionally very fun. So my question is, these are incredible pies. Like it's all organic ingredients. It's like everything's handmade. It's so much work. I was like, oh, there's enough people buying them. Like there's a market for pie. Like I'm not a pie guy, like to be completely honest. So like I was like, oh, this is, that's a business model. But it is. And is this like, who buys your pies?
I actually don't know that many customers because as a wholesaler, I sell it to the store and the store sells it. I imagine that people buy a pie every week, that there's people that like just constantly have one. I'm sure there's people that buy pies only for holidays or special occasions. And it's pie because like this original customer needed pie, but then there isn't other pie in our area, right? So like I really didn't have any competition and they're really good.
Yeah.
So people like.
So yeah, I mean, obviously they do is in the pie game, in the pie industry. I would assume you have the big grocery stores have their low end, super basic machine made pies that are on the affordable side, and then it's basically the homemade pie is like the other extreme, probably. Like,
Yeah.
And you're right there in the quality of the homemade pie, except nobody has to make it.
Yeah. And there's also like there's a lot of pie out there, and mostly there's a lot of cheap, like not good pie. And there's a lot of people that like that pie and don't want to spend twice as much, and I totally get that. But there's a lot of people that really want that really high quality taste in everything. And we're putting that pie in there.
Okay. And so now you're in like lots of co-ops here and lots of organic food stores. Do you still do farm stands?
I do a lot of farm stands. Yep. So we have a lot of seasonal business with a bunch of places that are just open for the summer. Lots of co-ops and independent grocers. We don't do any corporations or any chains.
Is that intentional or is that just because
it is intentional? I've always had a great relationship with my customers from the beginning, from those 2 farm stands. And I really want to do business with people who want to do business with me. And we did do a little bit of chain business, and it was not pleasant. And if there was a chain that wants to do business with us and is enthusiastic as we are to provide them with stuff, I would love to do that. But for now, like the rule is, we want to do business with people who want to do business with us.
I love that. So even though they might come and they say, okay, we'll take this huge quantity, but we'll like negotiate you hard on price because we will take this huge quantity.
This one, it wasn't a huge quantity. Okay. Like maybe they could sway me a little bit with a good amount of business, but this relationship just wasn't worth it. It wasn't enough. They weren't paying for stuff. It just wasn't a pleasant experience at all. And we don't want that.
I love that. I love that you say, it's like, I want to grow, so it works for me, and not just grow for the sake of growing. That's really cool. So how many people work at Saxy Chef now?
Right now, we are hiring right now. I need definitely 2 more people. I think we have like 7. I had 11 last Thanksgiving, like our busy season last fall. There were 11. So I would say there's room we definitely need 2 more.
But I think that's like, I actually find that the most impressive thing about you, I guess, is that like after 15 years of making pies, you're still excited to make pies. Because I mean, like there's, whether it's marketing or you own a restaurant, it's like so many people lose the joy and like the subject of what they're doing because they get caught up in the business of doing pies, like which that's probably 90% of your headaches and not like how to make them because you figured that out. So like, I think that's really special that you maintain your enthusiasm for pies and not just say, oh God, another pie.
I think it's because I like to eat them. I feel like if I didn't want to eat everything all the time, I would feel differently about making it. I also have to do all the business stuff for sure, but I would never want to be in the position where I don't get to make things. I always want to be hands-on and do all the other stuff that I have to do.
That's so cool. So are you also like with other things in your free time, like very hands-on, like very, like you cook a lot, you bake a lot, you try a lot? Are you still like working on new things, or is basically like you have your tried and true proven recipes?
Right now we are not working on any new things, which was part of my everyday life, like forever. Always just making new things. This time of year right now is slow for us, so we would always just make new things. And this past year and a half, I've really been consolidating our list to kind of streamline and focus rather than just like all these weird things out there.
Okay, just make like your life easier in terms of like.
And we can do better. We can do better if we're not so distracted by making all these different things. We can perfect the methods, by making the same thing more often. We can do better.
Okay, so it's only pies? You still do whoopie pies?
We still do whoopie pies.
Okay.
There are some very limited amounts of brownies out there right now. They're actually only at the Sullivan Country Store. But they bought, so the brownies and cookies have always been individually packaged, which has gotten crazy expensive. So they're like, should retail for maybe $6 a piece. Nobody wants a $6 brownie, I don't think, even though they're really good. But we're changing the way we do the cookies and brownies. So right now they're just not there.
Is so like, I mean, over the last couple of years, prices for everything have increased like crazy. I mean, like probably all of your ingredients that are all local expensive ingredients. Like, do you see that like kind of like people are getting sensitive to like your pricing because they really like it just gets really expensive once you then.
There's always a kind of give and take. We definitely saw a little bit of decrease in the last couple of years when stuff gets so expensive. But so far there's always been new places that want them. And I do buy a lot of stuff in pretty good quantities, and I get a good price on some stuff.
Cool. And so how do like new stores find you? Is it kind of like they go to another store to see what they have? They're like try the pie, they eat it, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. We need to have this at our store. Is this very organic?
Yeah, it's always been very organic. Okay. The people buying it somewhere else or going to, one of their sister stores and saying, do you know a pie person? I've had a bunch of phone calls who say, we asked someone if they have a pie person and they said it was you. Okay. That happens a lot.
Okay. And that also happened probably like restaurants and like just all the places.
Yeah, all the places have just been, I ate one and we want it, or someone told me that you make good stuff. I've never done any kind of advertising or anything.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's amazing. Like, it's so cool. Like, if you have a product that is so good that you just need to mail out pies. Awesome. Well, what is the next 5 years? You said, you're doing like a little less, like trying out, more streamlining, getting things better and neater in terms of like production.
Yep.
We're working on a little something, maybe, I'm not sure if that's ready to share, but like you have a couple of cool plans. Maybe you want to share them. I think it's super exciting.
I am super excited. So we just built a huge freezer downstairs and we're gonna fill it with frozen unbaked pies, which is something we've always done. There's just a limited amount of space that we can get a fresh pie to, right? Because we have to make it and cool it and package it and like ship it. And they have about a week of a shelf life, but they can only literally go so far. So finally figured out that this is actually better is for them to be frozen, and you can either, as a consumer, you can buy it and bake it yourself and have it at its most perfect, like freshest, bestest time. You can have it then. Or we also sell them to restaurants and institutions that do the same thing, that can bake it and sell it to you that same day. So the future is frozen pies, but a much greater reach further.
Okay. So is the smell going away in the building? Like I mean, I would.
Well, no. So you'll still smell the pie fillings, for sure. The fresh baked is not going away, for sure. It just is. We can't expand our area on the fresh baked very much.
Because basically the way your delivery works, and you have like, after you bake them, they need to be sold in 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're not great anymore. And so by freezing them,
we extend the shelf life.
You can do it wherever.
Yeah. And then they can get trucked like across the country.
Okay.
And
so is that the plan? Is it?
That's my goal. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like Saxy Chef to be nationwide recognized.
Well,
this is the first year, so we'll see how it goes.
That is the first year. That's amazing. I mean, I think it's really cool because, I mean, it solves so many of your supply chain issues where it's like, and like, how are you going to get like these things out to stores, restaurants? They don't have waste anymore because they can bake them when they need them and they just buy 10 at a time and then they have them. That's awesome. Have you thought about that for a long time?
We've always done it. It just took me a long time to kind of realize that this is the way.
Because like you're a pie baker, but now you stopped.
Yeah. Like, is it still a baker if we don't bake anything?
Okay, cool. I think that's super exciting. So what pieces are going to fall in place this year for this? You have a freezer.
So the freezer is in. The next thing is to kind of figure out how much stuff we can make to be able to market it to some distribution partners and see, how much we can make for them. Because we can it's a giant freezer. So we could put a lot of stuff in there, but they are handmade. Every single one is crimped with fingers, and it takes a while. So we'll be figuring out like how much exactly we can produce in a week.
How many pies do you make right now? Just, I'm not sure if you're willing to share, but like, just curious.
So last year it was 40,000 pies total. And I would say the most we can do is about 500 a day. At Thanksgiving, we have to make 500 pies a day or more. It's actually more than that now. But the little ones, the little tiny pies, we can make more of those. They are definitely labor intensive, but I would say like in an hour, we can make 77 of those, where like an hour, it's probably like half that number for the 9 and 6 inch pies.
That's a lot of pies. I mean, because like, I don't know, I mean, here in the building, it's a big building, like you have like this space that, cool. Well, thank you. I do want to switch gears a little bit. Talk about, we always do this. It's Freitag. I mean, it's actually literally Friday today. I don't think I've ever recorded Friday afternoons. So I'm about to send you off into the weekend. You told me earlier you guys bake Monday through Friday, so the weekends are off and they're real weekends. What do you do?
I like to do whatever I want. So as much as I work really hard all week, I can relax just as hard. I like to do stuff. I just bought a house about a year and a half ago. So right now it's full of house projects outside, like building stuff, cleaning stuff, fixing stuff. We have 2 dogs. So like any dog related activity, like walking or swimming or walking in the woods or whatever, sleeping on the couch, any dog things are great. And I usually have to do some work. Okay. So it's very rare that I have to bake something on a weekend, but I do usually come here at least once a weekend and have to do something. And I try to do a lot of computer stuff on the weekends.
You come in here for that, or you do that from home?
I can do a lot of it from home. So I do try to like pack up my computer, get all my snacks, like kind of like Friday leaving is like a big trek with all the stuff to make sure I'm all set up for the weekend. But I do often have to come here to fix something or...
You eat other people's sweets?
I sometimes do. Like today I'm really craving like a thing. Like I need to go get...
What are you going to get?
I don't know, because I am disappointed a lot. So I just had a chocolate chip cookie from the Atlas Farm Store in Greenfield a couple weeks ago, and that was really, really, really good. But I'm definitely not going to drive down there to get a cookie right now.
Where do you go for sweets?
I like ice cream, Ben & Jerry's, and Bart's. Also out of Greenfield. Those are my 2 go-to. Definitely ice cream. I definitely eat a lot of my own stuff, for sure. I do try some stuff, but I try not to try stuff because I think I'm going to be let down. So this cookie that I just had was shockingly good because I think I had a cookie, the last cookie I had wasn't that good from somewhere else. So I mostly try to stick with things I know that are going to be like ice cream. Oh, there's some vegan gummy bears I get from nuts.com. Those are amazing.
Cool. So lots of sweets, some work, and dog time. I love it. Where do you take the dog? So you go to Pisgah a lot? I know you're down Winchester.
My dog is actually not a dog. She doesn't like dogs. So we stay away from other dogs for sure. We play in the yard. She likes to ride in the car. We can walk around town and that's good. But we mostly stay away from other dog things.
Well, thank you so much, Aubrey. If people want to buy pies...
Oh, yes. Great question.
That is a great question. I would assume Co-op has them.
Yes.
Apparently, in this building, there is no pies to be had. Which, like, I urge you to have a little window where, like, people could just...
So we used to have one, but it got shut down from the construction. I do have frozen pies on hand. I like to have the frozen 9-inch pie so people can come in and get one. You can come downstairs and get one. You have to bake it yourself.
Yeah. I need an oven in here.
I do occasionally take special orders if someone wants to order one, but mostly I'm just going to tell you to go to the Co-op and buy one. But lots of co-ops in our area, especially Keene, but other local-ish co-ops have them.
Cool. Brattleboro.
Yep. We go up to Hanover, Lebanon, White River Junction, Concord.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. I think it's the most inspiring story that, like, after doing pies for so long, you're still so passionate about pies. Like, that just blows my mind. Like, it's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, that was a great conversation. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave us a nice review wherever you're listening to this. It really means the world. Our episodes drop every other Friday, so stay tuned for more insightful chats from It's Freitag.